Welcome back to another episode of Dragon Ball Daima Reaction Podcast. This is Nerdy Jock Media Presents with DK, and I am Kevin, the Nerdy Jock, and we're here discussing episode 15 of Dragon Ball Daima.
Third Eye Blind!
That'll be great, I think, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean...
It wasn't a bad episode, DK.
That was the bit that was in my head, too. I was like, oh, it's got to be Third Eye Blind. Yeah, you know, not a bad episode. It was a good episode in a very complicated and inconsistent series, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's the general theme, at least in my mind, when I'm watching these episodes fresh. We just finished about, 5 minutes ago watching the new episode.
Yeah.
As it premiered. And as beautiful as this episode was, by the way, it was another gorgeous episode, which...
Possibly the most beautiful animated Dragon Ball episode in any of the series.
It could be. It very well could be. I still think number one is probably the GOAT of this series so far.
Oh, because of all that old school animation? Yeah, for sure.
We'll do a ranking system, too. I think we'll do, once all 20 episodes are out, we'll do a episode ranking and then an animation ranking, because that's your specialty is animation as well.
That'd be great. Yeah.
And we could do like 2 and 1. But...
We won't be doing a plot ranking.
Yeah, we won't do a plot because a lot of times the show, we look.
Half the show would be in D or E.
Yeah, it's like our tier scale would be pretty low on this as far as plot goes. But, you know, it was a fun episode. I mean, we got into, it was a very red backgrounds on this one.
Yeah, because now we're fully in that first Demon World where it's all red.
I thought I used to hate the pink world of Demon World 3. But I think I really like the green world of Demon World 2 the best, like Namek. But this red's a little too harsh for me sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, because if you think about the clothes that they wear, Goku has his orange gi, Vegeta has his blue suit, and that light green was the best contrast for those colors that they could stand out against. Pink, not so much, and red, absolutely not so much, because obviously the power pole, there are different things that just blend into it. I think Vegeta is the only character that's really popping in the red world right now.
Yeah, I don't know why I even brought that up, but it just kind of popped to the top of my head. And we're just kind of free-flowing, free-balling on this one, kind of like the plot of Daima. You know, like they're just kind of spitting out whatever works for them in the episode, whatever's convenient for the plot, and going from there. Now,
this episode is exactly what I wanted Daima to be, at least for 90% of it.
Tell me more.
They're kids. Right. They don't have the ability to do things that they normally could. Guns hurt them.
Yes.
Magic hurts them.
Yes.
If they are confronted with an army of Gendarmerie, they can't overcome that easily. I mean, this is the promise that was made at the beginning of Daima.
Yes.
And now that the dub is slowly dripping out, and I'm rewatching it with my son, I'm seeing, this is what we were promised at the very beginning.
Yes.
And it has been confused by the fact that they can suddenly fly. You know, that obstacle is immediately taken away. They can go Super Saiyan. I mean, Vegeta can go Super Saiyan 3 in the show.
Yeah.
But they can't in this episode. At least for 90% of it, they can't. And so, you know, all of a sudden the stakes shift. I mean, it is as difficult for them to do what they need to do as the plot requires it to be. Yeah,
it's like we were discussing before the plot. We called it a plot of convenience. So it's convenient for them to not have their Super Saiyan abilities or not for Goku to use it until the very end. I mean, in all honesty, I think they were just doing, you know, Toei was taking notes and saying, hey, you know, I think maybe we should go Super Saiyan for one scene for the kids. To make it look, you know, give my Super Saiyan moment.
Think about what this episode, what you have to understand, what you have to buy into to buy this episode is that the Gendarmerie force is powerful enough to subdue Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta fighting together.
Right.
So why couldn't the Gendarmerie force take on the Tamagamis ever? And get the Dragon Balls? It doesn't make sense.
Plot hole.
Yeah. Spoilers. At one point, the force that Goku defeats, I believe, in episode 4, the third Demon World force that is underneath Pansy's dad's control.
Right.
Goku made easy work of them becoming Super Saiyan. A small ragtag bundle of those guys could easily defeat the tanks and the airplanes of the entire Gendarmerie force. But Goku and Piccolo and Vegeta together could not.
But wait, DK, isn't Pansy's dad the king, the same group of people that Goku defeated, like 100 of them in one short fight sequence in like episode 6?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But a dozen of them is enough to take out the entire Gendamari force.
Yes.
And then Goku finally goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
And then he just makes quick work of everybody else. So
Well,
listen, like the shots in this show, amazing. Like there were so many moments where I'm gonna rewatch this episode and just love the animation, love the character designs, so much stuff. But yeah, just the plot fluctuation. It's like, okay, this episode requires them to be weak for at least 90%. And then, oh no, we got to get to the next episode. So Goku, it's okay to go Super Saiyan now.
I mean, we announced like 7 episodes ago that we weren't gonna get pissed off about the plot anymore. We were just kind of enjoying the ride. Like we're sitting shotgun, next to Toriyama, just letting him cruise down the road and see what happens. But I'm still struggling. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still struggling with that. Like,
but I think we both acknowledge too. This isn't for us.
This isn't for us.
This is to onboard kids into Dragon Ball.
Yes.
This is a very evergreen, fun, beautifully animated, awesome fight show that kids that did not grow up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z now have an on ramp into this world, and they get everything explained to them really. I mean, really over-explained, but I mean, it's a kid show. So
it's a kid show.
It's like, okay, that's fine. But it is a little frustrating because this episode would have been one of my favorite episodes in all of the Dragon Ball canon if the stakes had been consistent. If we had gotten to this point and nobody had gone Super Saiyan and they had to just figure out how to use their ingenuity, they weren't saved by a Deus Ex Machina of Pansy's dad. It would have been great.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing.
But
it's the potential wasted. That's my problem. Yeah.
That's the problem. It's potential wasted as like, wow. And then just as much as I want to stay in the moment, I can't lie to you, DK. I got pulled out a few times during this episode. I'm like, okay, well, this makes no sense. Why wouldn't they just go Super Saiyan now? Or how is one shot from this gun that they haven't established for the last 20 episodes that one shot can like knock you out? They could have done that in episode 3. Right. I had these guys around, got them shot once, like, oh man, this actually hurts, or I have some damage, or whatever. I need a regeneration bug, like Vegeta uses that. I mean, speaking of plot, we'll get into plot in just a second here, but we're just griping and loving. This is an Oreo of a show, this episode.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of hate, and there's just kind of mix it together, and hopefully we can stir it up and make something decent for you guys to watch and talk about here.
But I'm sure people are feeling similarly because 2 episodes ago, Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3, and that was a very confusing moment.
Yeah.
And in this episode, a tank took out Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo together.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so why didn't that tank just take out the Tamagamis and get the Dragon Balls for Goma?
I don't know. Guys, I don't freaking know anymore. All right, well, enough complaining. Let's actually just move this forward and talk about the plot a little bit more. We did get some big updates plot-wise, which unfortunately...
We got some backstory plot.
Yeah.
We got some moving forward plot. So
we got some interesting notes here. And by the way, I think we need to mention it now. The biggest unkept secret of Dragon Ball Daima is that Hibis's belt, which you'll see here on the green screen, is actually the third eye. And it's funny because, like, everyone who's watching this show with us, we've been joking about this since the very beginning. Since we saw the third eye and they mentioned the third eye and we see it on Hibis, like, oh, that's got to be the third eye. I honestly thought it was so obvious that it couldn't be the third eye because it was too, I was like, this is too obvious. But then, as the story progressed, everything they were like, wow, this is obvious. And it turned out to be obvious. Oh, Glorio's gonna be a bad guy. Yep, that's kind of obvious. Neva probably has his own agenda as well. Pretty obvious. Goma, not really a real threat. Pretty obvious.
I think we called earlier too, Degasu kind of becoming a bigger threat than Goma at some point, and the next episode is called Degasu.
Hey, he had a gun up to Dende's head.
Yeah, and he was giving Goma the side eye, like, wait, am I really working for this clown at one point?
So it's kind of frustrating, and it's like, hey, you know what? I do need to give you guys a round of applause. Everyone there, I guess they got me because I was like, no way that could be the third eye. It's too obvious. It's too silly of a notion, and then it is.
It is.
Yep, Hibis is...
They get control of it very easily. They have a girl come and seduce him. He doesn't want to kiss. He just wants her hat.
He just trades it. He's a big fashion guy.
Right.
So maybe we'll see a lot of cosplay Hibis fashion next season or this summer at the Anime Expo. Who knows?
Well, I'm a little convinced now. Going back to what you said about Neva, I'm convinced... I guess it's Neva because now I'm watching the dub with my son, which I gotta say too, I don't know whose decision this was, Toei or Crunchyroll's,
Right.
but this thing of releasing the dub 1 week at a time when multiple episodes were already combined into a film 3 months ago, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The dub is pretty good on this show. There's a brand new cast playing most of the kids. I mean, obviously,
wow.
we have Stephanie back as Goku, which is a delay to hear. But whoever they have, I don't know people's names, but they have a brand new Vegeta playing Kid Vegeta, and that guy is doing a combo of Ocean Vegeta and Funimation Vegeta,
wow.
but as a kid, and it works really, really well. So they're doing great, but this whole 1 week at a time thing is really dumb. But yeah, it's Neva, I guess. It's not Neva, it's Neva. But I think that Neva might be the big bad.
Okay. I mean,
I think that there's something going on. I think they're setting it up. It kind of makes no sense because he could have used the Earth Dragon Balls to achieve whatever he wanted. So if he ends up being the big bad, it's going to be kind of silly, but it could be one of those things. Like, the show is called Dragon Ball Daima. We know this is an anniversary show. We're revisiting so many things from 40 years ago. We got Curse of the Blood Rubies imagery going on. We have plots going on that we're revisiting from the past. It's all about classic plots, right? And what do we know from Dragon Ball? The first really, really big bad was Piccolo Daimao. Daimao, which is one vowel away from Daima. If you just put an O at the end of Daima,
instead of the A,
it's Daimao. So is his wish to become youthful again? Is he going to absorb Du and Ku? And then it's Dooku Daimao or whatever? I have no idea, but I'm convinced that Neva is evil, and he appears feeble, but man, he's going to get something back. It's going to be the second coming of Lord Slug.
Yeah, I just think I did say earlier that I think he's bad. I don't really know. At this point, I just think he's bored. I think he's just like, dude, I want to see some action. Like, let's get in the mix. Kind of like the old guy from Squid Game season 1, you know? Spoiler alert, if you've seen Squid Game season 1.
I have not seen Squid Game season 1.
In Squid Games, there's this very old dude who's like 80 years old, and it turns out he's on the good guys team, and it turns out he's actually like the money behind Squid Games, and he just wants some excitement in his life. He's about to die from like cancer or something like that in the end.
Oh.
And so they
it's kind of like in Battle Royale where there are those two kids that are the plants. They've won previous games, and they're just kind of there to do chaos. One of them actually volunteered to come back because he's so sadistic.
Yeah, kind of like in Squid Game. Actually, season 2, same deal. I mean, I haven't watched season 2 yet, but this isn't a Squid Games podcast.
No, this is a Dragon Ball Daimao podcast.
Daimao podcast. All right, but here's the good news. So we got to see a little bit more backstory with Arbura and Darbura, which is like, did it really do it for me?
Oh, man.
Not really, because the animation was subpar. I mean, they had a cool cockroach-looking thing that, like, he was actually pretty capable bad guy henchman. When Dabura sent him, and I'll show you on this green screen here, sent him to use this fork key and open the door and get the third eye out to steal it because they need the third eye because it has ungodly power and all the evil people use it, blah, 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 blah. Feeling your JRPG,
Then he loses
whatever.
cell reception, and he's like, I don't care about my plan anymore.
The guy has a great chase scene, get away with the eyeball that they steal from Darbura's father's safe, and then basically a giant on Demon World 3 smashes him to bits.
And that's safe too. That's safe. The locking mechanism was literally just 2 cylinder prongs.
And it was like a quarter twist. It wasn't even like a full twist.
You didn't even need a key for that.
Yeah.
It's like you just put 2 chopsticks in it, turn it, and it's open. It was the dumbest safe lock I've ever seen.
But that's the problem, is that like my mind is going to all these places where it's not supposed to be, like, oh, like, why is this such a bad lock for the safe? Or like this and that. Like, I don't.
Why did Abura take the eye out of his head when it granted him so much power?
Yeah, that makes what's the point of that? And
I mean, the point of it was that the plot needed it to be easy for a cockroach man to get it.
And that kind of brings us full circle to the point of this whole episode, is that, like, yeah, it was beautiful, it's fun to watch, but this is just the show's just showing us that they'll twist the rules to feed the plot, if the plot's even necessary. Like, last 2 episodes were both basically fillers. There's a little bit with Neva, but like in general, like, it wasn't too much. So we got some great animation. Some beautiful stuff there. I mean, I don't. We're only 15 minutes into this episode, but I really don't know what else I want to talk about.
Well, this is why this is a problem, because the thing that made Dragon Ball Z so popular was how the stakes ratcheted up over time. From Raditz to Vegeta to Frieza, the Ginyu Force, all of that stuff, there were set limits that needed to be overcome.
And there were structured power scales, right?
Yes.
There were structured power scales. So anyone like me or you could watch, or just like a Naruto, or just like even One Piece, something like that. You have a baseline of power, and you know, like, okay, you know, Goku can't yet beat Tao Pai Pai in Dragon Ball yet.
Yes.
But you know, once he trains with Kami or whatever.
Once he climbs Korin's tower. Yeah.
He'll get strong enough to beat him. And that's a power scale. This one, it fluctuates. It's like, oh, we want him to go Super Saiyan here. Okay, boom. Super Saiyan 3 here. Boom. Oh, we can't go Super Saiyan now, but we have the power to, but we don't, because we want to extend this episode for 20 minutes, but we don't really have any filler.
Right.
So we're just going to hide behind rocks like that. That frustrates the hell out of me, man. Like,
yeah,
it's freaking frustrating.
It's the Harry Potter dilemma writ small. So for those of you who don't know, there is some legitimate criticism about the amazing plots of some of the books of Harry Potter, where this works really good for the book, but it kind of unravels the entire world when you think about it. I mean, just the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban, we established that there is a thing called a time turner, which you can use to go back in time. Nobody used this to kill Tom Riddle. No one used this to kill Voldemort. I mean, and it never comes back ever again in the entire series, and it kind of just ruins everything if you think about it that way.
Okay, Dan, DK, let's. Here's a problem, man. Time travel, you just got to kick that out the door, because anything revolving time travel, when has it been done right? Maybe Back to the Future 1,
Terminator 2, Judgment
Terminator
Day.
2, and Back to the Future. That's about it. Really, and then even that, when you add more stuff, it gets twisted. So like I think the plot in Harry Potter, besides the time turner, is pretty much spot on. Like, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
No, that book is my favorite book in the series.
Yeah.
It's a great book. It's a great device. It works really well. What I'm saying is that there are devices in each book that make the books amazing that never get talked about ever again, because if they were, you would realize it kind of unmakes the entire world. Or it's like, well, wait, I mean, these stakes kind of make no sense now. But
you're right.
But it's fine. I mean, you know, good stories have plot holes.
Yeah.
Plot holes do not unmake a story.
Right.
Terminator 2, probably my favorite movie of all time, has innumerable plot holes, which are very glaring to me as someone who's watched it over 100 times in my life. But it doesn't matter, because it's a well-told story. If a story is well told, it can have plot holes.
Yeah, and this one is it's just more of a, hey, let's check out this beautiful animation sequence. I mean, you made a point earlier that they took 2 years to do the animation for Daima. So this has been I think that's probably my biggest gripe, is that they spent so much time and obviously love and care on trying to get this right, and it's like a cake that's missing the flour.
Right.
It's like they cook it up and it's never quite been there yet. And so we got 5 episodes left. You know, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm not even convinced that there might not be another filler in here. Like, I told Dan, I was like, there's no way there's going to be another filler. But you know what? Last 2 episodes were filler. I thought no way after episode 12 to be filler. But like, who knows? If next episode is a filler, I'll be super pissed. I won't be surprised, but I know it's not. It's Degasu, but who knows? And with this show, you don't freaking know, except you do.
In terms of filler,
yes, you do and you don't.
I'm convinced that we are over the filler now. That we're over the hump. I mean, certainly.
I sure as hell hope so.
It looks like for the next episode that we are over the filler completely. I mean, Degasu, he's gonna make his move.
Thank goodness.
He's gonna do his thing. So I think that at least we don't have to worry about filler anymore. All we have to worry about is the same sort of power scaling, plot inconsistency stuff. I mean, that's really it.
We can do better than that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, do better, guys. I mean, it's too late now. The show's in the can. It's already done. But they could have done a lot better with the power scaling. It's just frustrating. So all you fans out there, we're with you. We're frustrated, but beautiful animation.
Hey, if you're one of those fans that just loves the show unconditionally, that's awesome too.
That's awesome too.
Yeah, we're not the type of fans that are gonna disagree and be like, you're an idiot. Like so many people online. I think I read a funny comment on the channel the other day where they're like, oh, anybody who hates Daima, that's such a neckbeard move. It's just like, They are right.
I saw someone shout out to all the love and all the haters on social media, but
Yeah.
we had a clip the other day, and there's like all I hear is yapping, and we're talking about some pretty interesting stuff. But I'm like, dude, it's like, yeah, this is a clip from a podcast.
This is a clip from a show where we talk about.
Where we talk about
literally
yapping. Like literally, that's what it's about. I was like, well, if you want full context, watch the full episode. That's what you're here for. The shorts are just shorts. They're snippets and they're clips to get you guys excited for this. The full-length episodes, and hopefully you guys watch these. And
right.
you guys can tell us what you hate, what you love in the comments, and say, you know what, Kevin, I disagree with you. I thought this episode had a great plot or whatever, and this and that.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird is that this episode, and I'm on Red Bull, sugar-free, sponsored, not really, is that this one actually, if you're going to talk about plot, this one actually had a lot more plot-like points and details. It just wasn't really told in a great way.
Yeah,
than
it was
episodes,
plot that kind of stepped on the toes of plot in the past, and the show had so much potential in the premise. And this episode, Third Eye Blind, I mean, the way that the plot fluctuated and modulated in this episode, I want something else to get me through this semi-charmed kind of plot. So,
I wouldn't say semi-charmed. I'd say quarter. I don't know, like a little bit charming.
Yeah, I mean,
animation's beautiful.
How's it gonna be when this show's over? I mean, I wish that we could step back from that ledge. So I'll just go through all of it, but I think that's kind of it for this episode.
I think this is a shorter pod.
If you haven't watched it, beautiful animation. Check it out. Some of the most gorgeous shots, some of the most gorgeous framing. There were just the one shot where Goku was fighting and he was just trying to overcome obstacles, and then he gets shot.
He did some really good stuff with his staff.
Yeah.
His power pole, Noibo, whatever you want to call it. He did some really cool animation there. I mean, there was some really cool sequence in here. Vegeta going for it. I mean, the chibi form sometimes I love, and sometimes it kind of frustrates me.
I love them when they are weak because that was the point. That was the point. I want to see their ingenuity come forward. I want to see them overcome the obstacles that are before them. I mean, if they're underpowered, if they're chibi, great. I don't care. But if they can go Super Saiyan 3 in one episode but can't in another, that's where we have problems.
Exactly. That's where we have problems. But, the good news is there is hopefully, judging by the preview for next episode, Degasu, stuff's getting real, man. We see some really crazy stuff, some more fighting. Degasu looks evil for the first time of the series. He's got a gun up to Dende's head, so there's an actual threat there for the moment. We'll see. But we'll see. But we're excited. We're excited.
We should say we might be
for the next one.
We might be gone for a couple of weeks, but we'll be doing a double pod at some point, or maybe even a triple pod.
We'll probably doing a double pod, maybe a triple pod, but like I'll be out of town for a few weeks. I'm going on an extended vacation to the Caribbean
with his soon-to-be Mrs. Kevin Ketchum. Yeah,
Angie, I love you, baby. But we're going on a cruise, That's when I was originally going to propose, but we had to push that back because I was intoxicated one day, and I told her...
He had 7 Red Bulls, and he just
pulled
out the ring right there. It's like, here we go!
I said, let's do this. So I'm happy about that, and I'm happy for the next episode to see where it goes forward from here. So hopefully we can put all these little inconsistencies behind us and move forward with a solid plot, with some great animation, with some powered up fight sequences, and we'll just like rock out these last 5 episodes. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed, all the good energy out there. That's it on my part. So
rock on. And hey, if you're a fan of this pod, check out our Dan to Dan pod.
Awesome.
We've got a couple more things to drop later after this episode as well. Maybe they've been dropped already. Our release order fluctuates. We'll see, but I mean, definitely, if you haven't been watching Dan to Dan, check it out.
We do have the finale episode coming up. We definitely have a really, really awesome 50-minute tier ranking for Dan to Dan. We can announce that now. We've already shot it. It's actually probably one of my favorite episodes we've ever done.
Me too.
It's fantastic.
It was super fun.
It's a great pod.
I think afterwards we were like, we need to do more tiers.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
It was, I would say, S tier level podding.
Yeah.
It was good. But either way, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on social.
Smash the subscribe button.
Smash that button, and
if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, come join us at YouTube. That is the premiere experience. You get to see me wearing a Goku wig this episode. And check us out next time, and we'll catch you next time on
episode
Degasu.
16, Degasu. All right. Awesome, bro.